Hey everyone, and welcome to another Gadget Talk. I'm really looking forward to this one because we're brainstorming. We're going to see what Chad's doing with his, and we're going to be talking about what some different aspects of what on his. But I'm going to be honest. I need y'all's help. I'm trying to come up with a Star Wars build. I don't want to do something that's just necessarily obvious, um, of that but something unique to Star Wars. And I'm trying to think of some different ideas, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I know it's been crazy for me this last week, and I know it's been for you, Chad.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff going on. So this is actually a great show for us tonight. So it's going to be a little bit different. Because I know, like I said, for me this last week, I've had Lego championships going on and everything, and also with all the aspects of that. But Chad's been really busy getting ready stuff for other events.
Yeah.
So
now that events are back on after COVID, it's actually extremely busy. So
right. So all right. So let's go ahead and take care of the sponsors, and then we'll be right back. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write-in-the-Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today. All right, so I really do want to thank everybody that sponsors the Geocache Talk and Gadget Talk. All those really do appreciate you. But I have I don't know if you knew this, Chad, but there were 2 events today that posted.
I know now.
Cache Fest. Right. So I'm really excited. I'm going to share this first one. We have our Thursday night event. It is a celebration event. Walking in Memphis. Now, this is going to be a lot of fun. We are going to be on Beale Street. We're going to be at Handy Park, walking in Memphis. Let me tell you, this place is really cool. I mean, it's smack dab on Beale Street. I mean, you're less than a block away from BB King and everything. We're right in the middle of it. Really a lot of fun. And right next door is what's called Insomnia Cookies. You want to talk about some really awesome cookies? Oh my gosh. Right next door, right where we're going to be at. So it's going to be a super lot of fun there. And then the next event, and this one's I'm excited about this one too, is another celebrate. Whoops, it didn't share it. Oops, I'm walking on the wrong one. Is another celebration event. And this is Art Heist at the museum. Now, I got to tell you about this one. This is at the Brooks Museum. And I'm just going to go ahead and read this for you. This afternoon, we celebrate a very unique and iconic location in Memphis. This place was founded in 1916 and is the oldest and largest art museum in the state of Tennessee. It's our community celebration site for the last side event prior to the international or worldwide Cache Fest over at Shelby Farms. This afternoon, you are all detectives trying to solve the mystery of the stolen art. Wander around and find your suspects that need to be interrogated. They will be easily identified. Find the thief, solve the mystery, and you will be rewarded for your excellent detective work. So I'm really looking forward to that one. That's going to be a lot of fun there. at the Brooks Museum. And there's also, that's right there. Brooks Museum is right there at Overton Park, which is by Levitt Shell, which is the location of the first ever rock show, the first location that Elvis performed at. So that's right there at Levitt Shell. I'm going to kind of throw a shameless plug. There's a stop of my Adventure Lab is right there at Levitt Shell. Anyway, and there's an Adventure Lab that goes around Brooks Museum as well. So not one of mine, but there is one that goes around there. So some really great activities. Let me give you the GC numbers on this. For the Art Museum, of course, you can see it right there. It's GC9NVQY. That's GC9NVQY. And then walking in Memphis, the GC is GC8QAK1. Once again, that's GC8QAK1. So go ahead and get your Willetins in on those two events. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's one thing I've really liked that we've done with Cache Fest. We're taking you to places all around the city that's very iconic. So Beale Street, Brooks Museum, the riverfront, doing some fun stuff, the escape room. I mean, just a lot of different places that we're going. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that week. It's going to be a tiring week, I know, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get to see everybody there. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like the fact that there's like 5 days of events. You have something to do for 5 days, and it's all around the city. So you get to see, the city. I mean, you get to see everything. So,
right.
And even some stuff we're not going to have any events at. I'm looking forward to actually having some time. We're going in early. We're going to show up a few days early, and like the zoo.
Right.
You want to go to the zoo? We love zoos and
the Brooks Museum is right there at the zoo.
Yeah.
So
might be the day I have to go right before the event.
Yeah, and that event, you can go in the morning because that event is from 2 to 4 that afternoon. We're getting in there, and what's cool, usually you have to pay to get into the Brooks Museum. We're not going to have to for this event, so you get to actually go in there. And also during that entire week, if you have bought a package or have your badge, they're part of the Show Your Badge program, which there's several different places that you're going to want to see this. But show your badge. You'll get to go into the Brooks Museum all week for free with your badge. So
that's
a lot of really cool.
Amazing. Being able to get into places for free for showing your geocaching badge or your Cache Fest badge is awesome. Amazing.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. So be on the lookout for I think there's still one more event that's going to be posting. We're working out the details on that, and that is our Sunday event before we go out. So one more event. So possibly one more, but I'm trying to think how many community celebrations. This is a Thursday and a Friday night community celebration. Actually, there's 2 community celebrations on Thursday because we have the escape room in the morning, and then we have the walk in Memphis. Yours is you have a community event on Wednesday night. So Wednesday, so there's 3,
and there's 1,
and then 4, which is the Beale Street, and then 5, which is the concert on Saturday night. So 5 community celebrations, 5 days.
Yeah, that's nice. That's cool.
So
lots of community celebrations to attend that week. That's going to be great.
Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So be sure to check those out, those Willetins there. So all right, now I'm looking back through the chat.
Was it snowing in California today?
I know. Didn't it snow? It was snowing in Goldendale, I think.
I don't know.
Washington today, just right over
Washington. Oh yes, they got a foot. My niece, my family lived down there in White Salmon area, which is close to Goldendale. And they got a foot or more. So
it's crazy. I know.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired. I'm tired of this bipolar weather. We had 80 degree weather today. We had frost warnings 2 days ago.
Yeah. Saturday we had rain, and then it got sunny, and then it snowed, and then it got real windy. So we had like all kinds of weather on Saturday. But that's this time of year here. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. If you don't like the weather, just give it an hour. It'll change.
Yeah.
So, all right. Enough of that. Let's get into what we're doing tonight, Chad.
Yeah, sure. So what we mentioned before on building a Star Wars cache for obviously May the 4th. I showed the container here we're going to be using Sorry, it's way down here. So I was starting to design the cache this weekend, but I thought, what would be fun is if we design it on the show with everybody here.
Yeah, I think so too.
I have different thoughts, and so I'm going to share them. But I'd love to have everybody's input on what we can do, and I'll start building this as we go, not tonight, but over the next few weeks, and get it completed, obviously, by May 4th. So that's where we're at.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. I don't know if I'm actually be able to put it out anywhere, but it'll be done. So if you can find one of these containers and build along with us, that'd be great. If you want to put it out. So I'm afraid that I have to find a place for this one. That would be probably bolted to the ground or something, because I'm afraid that this would walk away real fast around here. So anything like this kind of container in the woods would disappear fast. So anyway, so I had a few thoughts. So one thing is I love teamwork caches. So I thought, well, should we make it so you have to have 2 people to open the cache? I think that'd be kind of fun.
I think that would be fun too. I like that.
Yeah. So I have lots of these data port outlet covers here. So your data cords come out of here. So you have a low voltage box in the wall. So this would typically sit like an outlet on the wall, but it has an area where the data cords can come through.
Right.
My thought is if I took this and put it here, let's go to the other camera here. Put 4 of them on the side here. This side doesn't have the sticker on it. Like this, and then put a button up inside here, a weatherproof button. If you did 4 of them around it, you would have to have 2 people at least to open it. I thought about doing one on each section, but I don't want to make it too difficult. So I think if you just required 2 people to be able to hold it, and having this cover here with your waterproof button up on top here would make it so that you can't really use tape or anything to actually push the buttons. You'd have to have a second person. So that was one thought. And the way I would do that, I still got to think about how the mechanism would work on opening up, because this twists. And so I'd have to figure out how it would latch when it's done twisting.
Right. It'd almost have to be like a hydraulic. Would it twist, or would you do hydraulic that just opens it up?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good thought. The other thought is on the inside here, you would have different levels here on this. And I was thinking about just doing a round. Let's see where you at. On here, on this first level where this is, just doing a round cutout of something and putting 4 of them on top like this, to where you have to push the button in from the side, maybe on here, and then have something pop up in the middle or open in the middle.
That would be cool too.
Or
so
I can even,
Bill says, looks like an escape pod with a lid on the bottom as the thruster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that does, doesn't it? That's cool. I wonder how the bigger one would look a lot like it. That bigger one's way too big. I wouldn't know where to put that. So the other thought is I have a little shelf here. I could actually cut these out and move it down a little bit further. So then I can make the inside of it look a little bit more detailed, like Star Wars-ish stuff.
Right.
But I haven't decided yet. So I could either do the buttons and make it multi-people to open it up. And
so here's a comment from Engineer 42. He's saying, have it ask for buttons in order so the buttons can't be wedged down with some object. Should be able to have LEDs illuminate at each switch. Simple Arduino project.
We could, yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking of completing a circuit just to make it less electronics, but and easier for people. But that's a good idea. We could definitely do that as well. So that was one thought, and I have lots of these. I got like 20 of these things, so I could do as many buttons as we wanted to, and we don't have to use that either. So the buttons I'm talking about are these weatherproof ones that we have on everything. I'm gonna make Derek find a link here.
Okay, yep, I'll find it.
These weatherproof buttons that I have out in the weather for years, and I haven't had any issues with them So I actually recommend these. I highly recommend these. So these are the ones we sell with our kits as well. So this button would be inside or underneath this here. So that's one thought. The other thought is, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. I have this, and so I've wanted to do something with this.
Were those pre-wired that you had?
Yeah, those are pre-wired, but you can get them pre-wired or wire them yourself. So
I prefer the pre-wired because it's just easier.
yeah, if you don't have a soldering gun either, with the pre-wired ones, you can use wire nuts on, and it makes it extremely easy.
I'm looking for the different colors. I'm finding black pre-wired ones, which is fine.
So I have more non-pre-wired, but
I do too.
These here, you can also, if you're going to put it on the inside, you can use arcade buttons as well, because on the inside, this is weatherproof, weather-tight. It should be fine. I don't see why it would be an issue, but a big button like that would be cool. You can even have them illuminate if you want. I'm just trying to keep the power down and make it simple. But that was one thought, using the buttons. The other thought is a lot of my caches that I have out there have the LEDs that flash that I really like.
Right.
And so I found this, and I thought it'd be fun to put different color LEDs, drill them out in the back, and put LEDs in here. And then you could take this, and on that flat piece you put in here, you could mount this on the inside in the middle and have the LEDs flash on there.
They just would have to, they would just flash. I mean, you don't even have to write Arduino code for that. You could just have them simply a flashing LED that you could drop in there. You
could. I would do the Arduino code like we've done on the show because it's very simple, but you could use other items, 555 timer or anything like that. So, but you could do an LED that flashes. If you put them deep in there, you wouldn't have to have them flash. You could just have them light up, and they'd have to count them. And I'd put in several colors, and they only have to count in certain colors. And you'd have to look directly over it. It'd be hard to see it. So, anyways, that's one thought on this. And then obviously I'd paint this and everything. And this is, by the way, just a colored pencil or pen holder, right, that I found. And I saw it and I was like, I like that. I'm going to hold on to that because I'm a hoarder. So the other thought is, and with the buttons that you would push, is I could incorporate this into it. So I could get rid of the bottom and put just a clear bottom on the bottom, a regular cap on the bottom. And then I could actually mount the bracket for these door locks that we use. I could actually mount that on the bottom of it. Sorry here. Where is that?
That's getting things set up there. Yeah. So I did drop the link for the momentary switches or the momentary buttons is in the chat as well. And after the show tonight, I will have it in the description and here on, at least on YouTube. But it's on Facebook. You'll be able to see that chat on there. All right. All right. I'm bringing you back up here.
Yeah, no problem. So you could actually mount this here.
Yep.
On the bottom of this, you'd probably have to make this just the size of this. I'd probably just use a regular cap instead of this fancy end, but I'd leave the top the same. And then just have the door latch mounted so it sits like this, right? And I'd put in a bigger tube, one size bigger, so it would actually be able to mount in, maybe do a slit or something so it can only go in one way. But you could put this in, and so when all the buttons are pushed, this would pop up.
Now, let me ask this. Would the weight of it cause it, as soon as they release, to go back down and lock in? As I have a heavy door that mine kind of is that way, and if I don't actually lift up, it locks back.
That's a good question. Not tried it.
Just trying to think. And maybe you have to have like another set of spring that when you push it down, it actually loads the spring. So when it does, it shoots it up.
So an idea I had, instead of being able to take it out, but using the latch as well. Sorry, I have stuff everywhere in my room.
Don't we all?
Jeez. I got to think about where I put them.
Okay, so Pizza Ninja
Sorry
says, I
about
think
that.
it would be awesome if it was a Gadget Cache challenge cache, so that you would need to figure out how to open it and then spell out Dagobah using the first letter of counties. So it's a challenge cache. So you'd have to, yeah, that's kind of interesting.
So I have these that I bought for a project and haven't used them yet. And so if the container didn't actually get removed, but if you could have it pop up, you could actually use these to assist it up. So, and they don't take too much pressure. And so what I'd probably end up doing is just having a flat top on this, probably not this container because I don't want them to pull on it. But then you could cut a hole in the side where the cache would be or the logbook. And then you'd have to figure out a way to mount these to it so they would actually go up. So actually it came with mount. You'd actually be able to mount it.
Yeah, definitely having that hole in the side there would make it a lot easier to attach those, because then you'd actually be able to get down there with a nut or something and to be able to do it.
Yeah, and this is just a regular piece of PVC pipe before I glued it. So you could get it all mounted beforehand. Yeah, this is 3-inch. But you can make it whatever size you want. So different thoughts. I'm really thinking about using I love teamwork caches. So my thought is to make it a teamwork cache, but you don't have to just make it just a teamwork cache. You could do it so that you have to push the buttons and something would pop open a lid, and then you can have the LEDs underneath it that they'd have to count.
Yeah.
And then you can have just a regular barrel lock combination one somewhere on the side with a little tiny, it just needs to be a logbook. So it could be a little opening, for the logbook. So it doesn't have anything special at all. So I think that would be fun.
I like that. I like teamwork caches, but I also like the multi-stage gadget style that you get into this aspect of it. Then I got to figure out how to get into that. And a lot of yours are like that anyways. I mean, like,
I like multiple steps.
Superhero Jeopardy was like that. Several different ones that I've done of yours have been like that. So
yeah, I like the multiple puzzles to get in. So then it kind of makes it almost more of an escape room, or to me, the experience that it gives you, you think you're done with it once you get the first part opened, the container itself opened, and then there's a whole new one.
Yeah, that was just the teaser.
A whole new puzzle. Yeah. So so that is a thought. The other thing is on the inside of it, when I open it, or when you open the cache, to design it or to make it look more Star Wars-ish, I made this real quick, this panel for a Star Wars thing. And these actually are made, I don't have them glued in. An LED can be behind them and light up. So you can make them flash or do whatever you want.
I like how you just say, I just made this really quick.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I know.
So I caught the Glowforge technically cut it, but yeah, I just designed it. They're not hard to do once you get the program down. So anyway, I can make this into a circle part and completely redesign it so it actually has that Star Wars look, or I can make them into a smaller panels and put them on the outside as well. And on these, you could have the LEDs flash or blink or anything you want fade, which would be really cool. So you can get all the different, you can get the quick flash, the slow flash, the fading LEDs, so that, and you can get them just to stay on too. So you don't have to do any Arduino coding or anything like that. So that is one of my thought processes. But I think the best thing to do to start is to figure out the puzzle, either have it inside or outside or to get into it. And then I'll get all that built in to where it goes. And then I will start designing around my mechanism or the puzzle, what the looks are going to be like, what we're going to add to Reblees, like we went over before. I have all kinds of parts in here. So one thing I'd like to use, third door on it is, I'd love to get this incorporated inside. I'll bring it over there.
Okay.
And this one I think would be really cool. But I keep all these things. These things are great. So They wouldn't do anything with their heat sinks off of computers. But if you mounted this to the top, once you open it, or even the outside of the box, or these would look really cool on there.
That it does just look really cool. And Engineering 42 says multi-stage make more than one layer, each donut shaped, locking into a central core. So I think you figure out how you break out this one, then you break out of this one, and then you break out. Then finally the center core comes up, or something like that. Is what I think is what he's explained there. Or if we're talking donuts vertically, so we go up in here, then we go down to the next level, then go to the next level.
That'd be cool. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun if it came up, especially if you could actually have the levels raise as you
that
you
would be
complete
cool.
them. If you had used these here,
the hydraulic,
the gas struts. If you use these and each layer went up as you complete it, that'd be really cool. That'd be a fun cache to find.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, was it? Yeah, it was one of Chris Ramsey's ones that he did, where he as soon as he picked up the jar, or not the jar, the glass container, it dropped, and then he had to solve the puzzle to finally get it to come back up, the object. So that would be something. So that's kind of how they did the hydraulic.
Yeah, or you could have it completely lift out and have the
right.
Kind of cool completely coming out is you could have a different design around it. You could use different languages and have a key in there. So that's one thing I've made several of that would be kind of fun is these key deals. I like them better. I like them better this color, but you could actually have this in there, which tells you the language and what it means. So anyway,
that's really cool. So yeah, I'm looking at this. Engineer Force says each time you solve a layer, it lifts out to reveal another puzzle. That's what we're talking about. And then Tom going, y'all's brainstorming on gadget caches is my brain going on wild on puzzles. So maybe this needs to be a collaboration with the Puzzle Boys.
Yeah, I'm not a puzzle person, so yeah, that's where it's nice to have friends that are good at puzzles, because I could build it, but I can't always come up with the puzzles. Coming up with a good puzzle, especially from the puzzle guys, that would be fun. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I thought we were
the gadget guys and they're the Puzzle Boys.
Yeah, I'm not a puzzle person. I'm not that smart. So, but yeah, that'd be fun. I think having all the different puzzles and being able to have, I mean, you could do a disc with the languages on each level would be fun. I mean, there's all kinds of options. So that's fun.
Or you could even do like you said, a disc, maybe like English on the inside, the ABC, those, and then on the next level will be the next key. So it's one single Rosetta Stone, say, as a circular thing where they could do it.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Well, Tom says, well, I am electric water boy.
Yeah.
Puzzle boy.
So just because a container is big doesn't mean the cache itself has to be big, or where the logbook is. So you can use that space up with other things.
Just put a little blinky or a little nano in there.
Maybe a nano at the very end, a micro. Yeah, that's funny. Although I do like being able to have swag in my caches. But it doesn't have to. I like making the puzzle and the experience more than the swag. But yeah, that's cool. Sorry, I'm going to back here and read. You've been reading these?
Yeah, there's not. I've been kind of watching them. Okay. So there's not. I think I've highlighted most of the ones that we needed to. But I do want to thank everybody for joining us. We got Canada in the house. I mean, let's see who else where I've seen. Texas, of course, Rumba Cats and Tom, and there's others in there. Arizona, just finding our way, is here. Let's see here. Audie out in Kansas, California. Bell on the Move. Andrew's with us. So yeah, we got a lot of people seeing a lot of the familiar names in here tonight. So I'm just literally excited to see everybody in here tonight. Put some ideas in there. What y'all thinking? And of course, I need help with my build this month. I'm looking something. Sorry, just read Engineer 42's comment. There's squirrel. came up. It says, so this would be a giant puzzle, and the log will be in a fake rock next to it.
So you could at the very end, you'd be like, not the cache or not the log.
Cache.
At the very end. That'd be fun.
I don't think
That'd
you're
be
that
funny.
evil though, Chad. I don't.
No.
That's like Sith level evil. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm trying to come up with an idea for mine. And I said this before. I don't want it. I want it to be, of course, Star Wars, but I don't want it to be obvious. Not obvious. Obviously Star Wars, but something a little bit different than what we've seen before. And I mean, I'm willing to build it and try and get some stuff doing that. I don't know how we do. I mean, last month I did airbrushing with a board cube, which is really cool. Like a diorama. I thought about that, and I've seen those, and those are really cool. I've seen some recently. I've seen some ammo cans that they turned into different things. I was even thinking of a mouse droid as an ammo can. And we've kind of talked about that for an event before, Chad. And I was kind of thinking of that. Or I don't know. I'm trying to
mouse
figure out
droid would be a fun. So yeah, I started building a mouse droid out of an RC car, but that would be fun. You almost need to do one for geocaching. That would be a mouse droid ammo can.
That's what I was.
And it could drive around to the event or something.
That would be. See, that's somewhat of what I thought, but I don't have all the RC stuff like you do. But I mean, I could go find it. Oh, I might be able to find an RC car and just take it apart and put it in there. But I don't know. That's an idea. But I know I'm trying to think of some different aspects. Jess was coming up with some earlier today too, and then we were kind of talking about another one beforehand. But I'm really on the fence of kind of what I want to do. I mean, I don't know. I love this idea that you got here. I mean, I have one where you had to use the Abarish. I don't think I said that right. The Galactic Basic, how it's written, code, and to be able to get into it. But to me, that's an obvious, almost, it's an easy one, kind of that.
That's this language. It's a sign I made for actually one of my caches. Right.
So I have that where it's actually on there. So you have your code there on the camo can itself. Then you have to figure out what the lock is by the LED colors, and it tells you what color is what on there, and you have to decode that. And it's taken people 30, 40 minutes to figure that out.
That was one thing I was thinking about on this too, is figure out what I just did with it. This here, well, if you open it up inside and you had several of these sitting around it, you could do 10 of them. And then you had this as a key, and you had different numbers in this is Mandalorian language here. If you had it painted on the front of this, right, but in the description or somewhere, it would only give you certain ones to push, but there'd be a button each one. You could actually, like at one of our previous builds, you can actually have the button cancel out the rest of them if it's not the correct button push. So you wouldn't have to push all the buttons. They would be there. They'd be covered like this. But you'd have to figure out what numbers correlate with what's on the front, and you'd only be able to push those certain buttons. But that'd be a fun puzzle too. I don't know how you would do that.
That would be a fun puzzle. Yeah.
But if you pushed one button that was wrong, it would cancel all the buttons out.
Right. So that's of course Arduino based, and that's
no, that's actually not. You should use normally closed buttons. We did this build. Super simple.
That was the. Yeah, I remember that one. It's the one that has the diagram on your shirt, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, so if you get the Gadget Talk shirt, the it's on the back of that. And of course, Chad's got a Gadget Talk shirt, but we don't have that. His doesn't have the code on there. And I got
this is one of my original test ones.
So, yeah, that's the one that has the diagram on the back of it. So that's.
I don't think I have a battery anymore, but this is one that I did. And so you got to push certain buttons on here in a certain buttons to open it. If you pushed one of the wrong buttons, it obviously wouldn't open. I don't remember what episode we did that on, but you could do those buttons. It doesn't have to be those square ones. You can do those underneath these. So I think that'd be kind of fun because it would cancel out all the other buttons if you didn't do it right. So you'd have to figure out the puzzle. Right.
Now, if you wanted to do that with LED buttons, how how much power would you have to have?
So those do light up. You don't have to have them lined up if you don't want to. I would run a 12 volt myself. The container's big enough to hold it. I don't mind maintaining it, and I use 12 volts. It's only going to use the power as the buttons are pushed to just open that latch. They're normally closed buttons, so as soon as you let go, the power goes away. Nothing's going to overheat. So I would just use a 12 volt in there, and you can go with big 12 volts or small ones.
Right, and I was just looking for sizes. I just bought the other day. I don't know if it's me, but everything all of a sudden seems to be moving slow. I just bought some 12 day packs that you can put in there and to put regular 12 volts in there. It's definitely me. I can see that I'm starting to bog down.
You could also use some 18650 batteries. But I find that these drain more. I'd rather see a small 12 volt like this used, as well as I personally, what I like to use, and one of the reasons why I use these all the time is because I get them all the time, but you could also use it in 6 volt batteries. I like to use these bigger 12 volt batteries here. They will last years out there. My teamwork cache that requires the 4 people to get, or 3 to 6 people, whatever, use that. Here's one here that's a little bit thinner. I use these usually on backpacks for costumes, as well as the smaller one, or you can use a 6 volt. I use these at the salmon hatchery caches, and these last for several years too, so you don't have to use such a large or 12 volt. You could use 6 volt as well. So I like the lead acid. I know some people have issues because they say they drain in the weather and the temperatures, but ours don't fluctuate obviously enough here to make a difference. Dave Wagner said here is a 9-button show.
9-button show.
We showed that at.
And I'm actually over here looking for it right now because I'm gonna put a link into our chat here in just a minute. I'm pulling it up right now, trying to find it. Of course.
And I'll pull this out.
Recently 500 shows on Geocache Talk, so I got to go through a few to find the link. So
nice.
I'll let you talk for here a second, Chad.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the diagram real quick on that 9-button show. Is there's no Arduino. It's just you're going to a normally open, normally closed area on the button here. And so you just rotate them on which ones you want open and closed. So if it needs to be open or closed and you push another one, it will automatically open it and then it kills the circuit. So you can't push the wrong one. If you do, it obviously won't work. So
okay. And that's really cool. I like that. I really do. I think that's really cool. I'm like I said, I'm still looking for this show right now. I'm getting into the playlist for
no worries.
Gadget Talk.
So that's
by the way, this is our 55th Gadget Talk show. By the way,
I didn't know that. Oh, well, thanks. That's cool.
We got So I was just looking at that when I looked at this today. So,
I didn't realize that. I guess I didn't think about it.
No, it's like a full year of Gadget Talks.
Yeah. So the other thing, go ahead.
And it's only going to get more because we do this every week now.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's one of the hardest things is weekly, trying to come up with ideas. So doing these longer builds as it takes time to build them actually helps out quite a bit. So then when we go to design, I don't know if we should talk about designing things, but tonight we could always talk about decorating it later. One of my other ideas I had was to do a dome and have a clear dome and have a puzzle underneath it so people can't get to it. I have ideas of stuff all the time that I'm like, man, this would be kind of fun. I've had these for a while and I've thought about it for a cache, but if you could have a dome sit in the middle of that and have something underneath it, I was thinking of this because then it would be kind of cool or something. But
yeah, that would be.
We always talk about designing designing it later or coming up with putting greeblies in it or something like that. So also the other thought, I had so many thoughts as I'm driving today at work and then never haven't pulled everything out, is using this.
Oh
so
yeah,
you
one of
could,
those.
yeah, I mean, it would be as simple as coming up with the puzzle and then using this with the latch and having a door open. I mean, it doesn't have to be very hard at all. You could actually use the buttons to make it a teamwork initially. That would light up LEDs. It could light up 7-segment displays. You can do a 4-digit 7-segment display if they're all pushed, and then that would give you the code to type into here. So,
okay.
I mean, there's so many different options and ways we could go with this.
Okay. Yeah, Dave's giving me the date of it on there, so that's going to make it a little bit easier for me to find it as well. But I will put that in here. Yeah, 55, Dave. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. 55 shows. Yeah, just, and my internet's running really slow. I got to get a new booster in here into the shop, so this will make it a lot easier for me.
I can't tell too much. It was for a second, but it seems to be okay now, at least on my side.
Yeah, I can tell because it's everything on my computer is running really slow, and it's driving me insane.
Mm-hmm. We could add RFID cards to it to come up with codes. There's so many different options. So my initial thought is I think I'll go with, I kind of want to go with the buttons to either light up a 7-segment display, to open up a latch, something. If you don't want to do a latch system, just lighting up a 7-segment display with the buttons would be the easiest. But I like the idea of the buttons in a certain order using that 9-button method that we used. It doesn't have to be 9, it could be more or less, but using that same method to where it's actually a puzzle. You got to figure out what buttons to push and then either have a 7-segment display pop up, 4 digits in a 7-segment display, or something else. So I really like that idea. I think that would be really fun.
That does sound like a lot of fun. I do like that.
Sounds simple, but yet fun to build.
And I like the 9-segment. I like the button idea. I may have to do something like that, so I may do a different variation of what you're doing. So, I mean, that's just something. Then that's something I really love seeing. Anyways, it may be like kind of the same concept, but the variations are different.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to see what you come up with. I mean, that's the fun part about this is seeing what people come up with and what they make. So, the reason why we do this is for people to get the ideas, and I don't care if you copied exact or come up with your own idea, but I just want to get the fun caches out there.
There it is. I finally found it. Thanks, Dave.
Nice.
So I had a lot of shows to go through. That's 2 years worth of shows. I mean, that was back from in June 30th of 2020. I mean, it's April of 2022. So there was a lot of shows back there. And of course, that was when we really started doing a lot of different shows here on the network. Some fun little trivia. That was June 30th, 2020. The first challenge talk was July 2nd of 2020. So the next show after we did that build was Challenge Talk.
Challenge Talk?
Was the first Challenge Talk. So just a little trivia, Geocache Talk trivia there for you. There'll be a test afterwards.
Let's see, what else is there? So there's so many different ideas. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You could do a UV light like what you did on yours. You could actually put a tube in there that goes down with the little glass thing that you got to shine a light down in. Maybe.
Right.
There's so many different options to go with.
Or there's what we see on one of the builders when we did CacheCon, you shined a light and it was fiber optic line that lit up the numbers. You could do that, and maybe you shine it through there and it lights up a star field, and you have to then connect the dots of some sort to reveal a code. That might be something. That'd
be kind of fun, yeah. So many options, but I think I'm going to go with the buttons, the 9-button system, to at least do the first part of the puzzle.
Right.
I don't know. I think I'll have it light up a 7-segment display because then I can incorporate whatever I did with that. I don't know what I did with that panel.
Now, it'd be really cool. So this would be really neat. It would be You could do a Death Star. So you have the Death Star, and if you had like a little fader switch like they did, which is actually off of a Grass Valley switcher for television production, when they faded is what fired the Death Star, and somehow you had like a green laser shoot onto another side, and it did something there. That would be kind of cool. It'd be a lot.
So a green visible beam laser.
What, you got one just stuff way back there, Chad?
I got one somewhere in here. I got all kinds of lasers. Let me see if I'll have to put batteries in it.
There's a show for us. All right, let's just name random things in the chat and see if Chad's got it in the shop. Green laser. I got that right here. Plus, you got a Mandalorian hat on right now too. I'm seeing.
Oh, you know what's funny is I found that outside Disneyland and Disney thing. They had one. I bought it, and I actually wanted to buy another one. I couldn't find it anywhere else in the park, online, anywhere. So yes. Anyways, I do have it on. Yes.
Gene says, "Yeah, neat sounds like Star Wars sounds." So yeah,
using the sound module is another great idea. You could push the buttons. Okay, the green laser. Where's my thing? So this visible beam, but you still need to have something. I might have. You
need to have like a little bit like a smoke or something.
I have a can of smoke somewhere.
So
I wonder if my son took it.
Okay, so here's one. Do you have a radiator cap for a 68 VW Bug?
No.
All right, so Tom, you win that one. All right, because he says bet he doesn't have a radiator.
I don't have that much stuff. It just looks like it.
You can't use that for a gadget, Tom. That's why he doesn't have it in there.
Yeah, you probably could.
Call it Herbie.
Trying to think. I have a smoke machine, but where's my can of smoke? My son he loves trains, and so he always does videos with it. Although it doesn't put out smoke, it's more of a.
Well, just go get some flour and a can of compressed air, and do it with that.
Oh man, I don't want to clean that mess up. I know I have one out in my car too for work, but. Anyway, yeah, so I don't see it anywhere. It should be right there, and I don't see it. So I don't have, but anyways, for a visible beam laser, you still need to have something. If I shut all the lights off, you'd be able to see it because the particles in the air would still light it up. But it's if you had something on it anyways, you would be able to see it. Or what you could do is if you wanted to just get the rods in this color green, so you can get a round rod in this color and put an LED behind it, it would actually light up as well. So you could actually use, it's kind of funny that you mentioned the Death Star. This has an indentation in it.
Oh my gosh.
So you could actually put those little rods. This is a giant one. Obviously, I don't think I have anything smaller, but if you get this in the green that is smaller, you could actually glue them. I won't put it together right now, but you could glue them at the angle, right, and have one going out and put the LED to light it up in that fluorescent green, and that would be kind of cool too. But it just wouldn't be able to point at anything. But
okay, so Tom's commenting on the radiator. She said, when you find the radiator cap, don't try to sell it on Pawn Stars. And then he says, for those that don't know, VW Bugs are air cooled, so they do not have a radiator.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that.
No, I remember hearing about that, but then I wasn't thinking about that at this time. So another set of trivia. You'll be tested later. Actually, now let me ask this: if you did the LEDs like that, would it show through fiber optic or fishing line?
It'd go through fiber optic. I don't know if fishing line is. I mean, it'd be pretty dang close. It's almost the same thing, I would think. I don't know. I don't know much about fiber optics. I do have some fiber optic cable.
Yeah, I have some upstairs in my office.
It doesn't work that way with the cable.
Right. I just didn't know if it would shine through there, because like what you have there, you could paint that black and then have those.
Yeah, but the fiber optic is only going to show on the end, I think, the light.
Right. That's what I was thinking too. Unless,
So,
yeah, and I don't think you could use sandpaper to roughen it up so that it would catch it, because
you
it's a
could
tube,
on
it's
the
hollow.
acrylic rod
Right.
that's this color, you could roughen it up, and it would show on the end. But I don't know if that would work with fiber optic. It's a good question.
Yes. Oh, so Gene's saying so many good ideas and examples from past builds. So, fishing line glows pretty well with light, but it would be really thin. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, and that's what I was trying to think of what it would do on that. And this is part of brainstorming that a lot of times Chad and I will get on every once in a while and we'll do this, trying to figure out some different things. I mean, I don't know how many times I've texted Chad and different people like, okay, I'm stuck. I need an idea. What can we do really quick? This is what I want to work with. And I'm just trying to put an idea together. And then, so we kind of do this brainstorm thing, it's kind of, I call it the spaghetti test. We come up with a whole bunch of different ideas like spaghetti. We throw it against the wall and what sticks is what we do. So, and I think I want to do kind of the 9-button idea as well, because that's a really cool idea. So I'm going to have to, after the show, I'm going to have to go get some new LEDs. So I can do that. And I may just go ahead and just design the panel for right now and then figure out how it's going to go in to fire a latch on something. So I may just go ahead and design the panel and the latch for this month on it, because I think it needs to have some really cool, what'd you call them? Greeblies?
Greeblies, yeah.
Yeah, a little different type of things on there that make it look really cool Star Wars. I mean, I'll have to go get some Gillette razors, so like little communicators that pop up or different things like that. What about Palm just asked, what about plexiglass? Would plexiglass show the light? And that's what you'd have there in your hand.
I have several things that will plexiglass. Yes, it will, the edges of it, or if you engrave something on it.
Right.
So like this is plexiglass, and so it's UV light inside. So if you drew something on it, it would show it, but you can see the edge of it will show the light through. This is UV, so it's not very bright. You can do engraving like this, and you don't have to color it. I colored this.
And how'd you color that, by the way?
I used my airbrush with translucent green.
Okay, and then you just wipe down the other?
No. So I laser engraved it, and you put in your pre-mask on it, right? So then you already have it masked off. And then you paint it, and then you peel the mask tape off.
Right.
So
okay.
It's pretty simple. But this would light up as well. But I tell you what, I would give away a pat tag or a coin to someone if they could tell me what this says. Not you, Derek. But anyway, that would be fun. So that's one way to do it. You can actually have it light up, or something like this. This is engraved. You can put a light on it and it would light up the plexiglass. So,
and I think that's really cool. I really do like that. And I may have to have you engrave something for me, and get it to me, because I think it'd be kind of cool to have like a panel inside that'd come up and it'd be in that language, and they'd have to decipher the language and figure out what, like you were talking about buttons, but just have a thin LED light that comes up that just kind of lights it up. That might be kind of cool. Just so it just sits in there. The wheels are turning, and now it's going to be fun trying to get some stuff going. So Gary says he's late to the party, but he was mentioned about using buttons where you can't see them both at the same time, so you need to use a mirror or a tool.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I have plexiglass mirror that you could actually wrap around it too. Think about where I have.
So would that make it like one of those fun houses where you think you're reaching for the actual?
Yeah, it would actually distort it. I think if you curve it. Hang on here. I know I have a whole bunch of it here.
Yep. So, and as those that have new to the show, Chad's walked off into the other side of the shop.
Sorry, I don't have the camera on.
Yeah, that's all right. So, but also remember, this month we're doing a Star Wars build, and Star Wars inspired build for this month. And for May 3rd is when we'll do the viewer reveal, because that's as close as we can get to May 4th without being on the 4th to do the show this year. So that if you have one that you would like to showcase on Gadget Talk, you can always send us an email at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com, or you can also tag us on Instagram at Gadget Talk Podcast. Love to see what you have there. And like I said, go ahead and send us an email at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com. Really look forward to seeing what you have, and if you want to be on the show. Andrew, a couple months ago, had his lightsaber one, and I've been following that one. That's been a lot of fun, seeing different people, what they've done on that build with that one. So if you have a cache and you want to be on the show May 3rd, send us an email or tag us on Instagram and let us know, and we'll have you on the show, and so you can showcase your cache, because we said this before, this show is about you guys, and that's why Chad and I like to do kind of this brainstorm, because we like getting your feedback on this as well. So, all right, Chad, what do you got? That's that plexi mirror.
So this is a plexiglass mirror here. I just pulled the pre-mask off. So this is the tape that I engraved through, and then you paint it, and then you peel the tape off. But anyways, you can see it here. And it moves, so it actually would distort though. Yeah, you can see my messy camera area, but that would be kind of cool. You could actually mount this and run it all the way around there if you wanted to, and maybe not give that hint or something, and they'd have to actually see inside. I don't know how well it would distort or look, but that's an idea. I think if you ran it around the whole inside, then it wouldn't be obvious that that's what that it's a key or part of the puzzle. I don't know. Good idea.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I'm curious too how that would work. Once again, the wheels are turning in the old noggin, trying to figure out what's going to happen. So, but I think the 9-button idea I think that'll be kind of cool, and it's going to be interesting how you incorporate it and I incorporate it. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really am looking forward to this. Now, the other way, if you didn't want to do the etching, here's another thing. If you didn't want to do the etching, if you used UV, not necessarily paint, but a UV marker on plexi, and you lit it with LED, you'd see that as well. So maybe I won't have you etch anything for me. I may do it that way.
Yeah, I have that. That's what that thing I showed here is.
And what
this
if you
is
did the
for
UV
the marker
on the back, right? If you did the UV on the back of it, so that was maybe against the wall, so they can't actually get to where they can scratch it off, that would preserve that UV marker longer than if it was on the front of it.
Yeah, you'd have to write it backwards, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, as long as just use a mirror and you can write it.
Yeah, so here, let me write on this real quick and see.
Or the other option would be to sandwich it. You'd write it normally on one, and then you sandwich it between two. So, Andrew's asking, Bell on the Move, is that a one or a two-way mirror that you had?
One way.
Okay. All right. It may not be able to be
my UV is probably, it looks like it's dried up. My UV pen. They're pretty old. So
yeah, but if you could actually sandwich between two pieces of plexi and get away with it too. So you're not getting people's fingerprints all over it, and it would last quite a while.
Yep. Cool. Put that back.
All right. So Tom is saying, ooh, could you put the bendable glass in a circle and have it reflect something written on a rod or something that you can read without seeing the reflection?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know how you do it, but
yeah, we'd have to.
That'd
be something that we'd have to experiment with. But that's a cool idea. That's really neat too. So,
yeah.
All right, Chad. I think we've had quite a few ideas tonight on doing this. This has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this. I see that you got something pulled up on your screen there. Are you wanting to share that?
We'll go that next week.
Okay. All right.
We can do that next week.
So Tom's saying you read the reflection.
Yeah, because it would be backwards if you wrote it backwards, you'd be able to read it forward in the reflection, I guess, right?
Right. Something like that. Okay. All right. So once again, if you have a Star Wars themed cache that you want to highlight on May the 3rd, send us an email at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com, or you can always tag us on Instagram at Gadget Talk Podcast. So I think that's it for tonight or for today, Chad, wherever you're watching this and whenever you're watching this. So next week we're going to continue with this, correct?
Yeah. So next week I'll cut out the round circle for the top of the container itself, and then I'll mount the buttons in place, and I think get that part of that puzzle done, and then we'll look at maybe decorating, maybe a secondary part of the puzzle. I don't know. We'll see how far I get this week.
All right.
On things.
Sounds good.
So,
and thank you everybody for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week as we continue this build. And remember, May the 4th is coming up, but we'll be here on May the 3rd. So, and we'll be here next week as well. All right, everybody. See you later.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.